Hey everyone! Welcome back to another episode of The Mindful Hustle, the show where we talk about how to live smarter, not harder, and how to keep your sanity in a world that never stops buzzing. I'm your host, and today, we're diving into something that every single one of us battles with every day: productivity. But not just productivity in the old school sense, no. We're talking about productivity in the digital era. Think about this for a second. We live in a time where almost everything is designed to save time. Faster Wi-Fi, smarter phones, instant messages, AI-powered calendars, and apps for everything from meditation to meal prep. Yet somehow it feels like we have less time than ever. Why? Why are we more connected, more equipped, more informed, but still constantly behind schedule, overwhelmed, and mentally exhausted? Maybe it's because productivity today doesn't look like it used to. The way we work, the way we think, even the way we rest, has been completely reprogrammed by technology. We're living in what I call the attention economy, where your focus has become the most valuable currency. And guess what? Every platform, every app, every notification is competing for a piece of it. We wake up, reach for our phones before brushing our teeth, scroll through updates, check our emails, reply to messages, skim through news headlines, and jump straight into a day that's already demanding more attention than our brains can process. By noon, we're drained. By evening, we're wondering, what did I actually get done today? So let's take a deep breath, because in this episode, I want to break down how the digital world has reshaped productivity, and more importantly, what we can do about it. We'll talk about practical strategies, mindset shifts, and proven hacks that help you stay productive without burning out. Let's start by facing an uncomfortable truth. Technology has outpaced our biology. Our brains evolved to focus on one thing at a time: hunting, cooking, writing, solving one problem. But technology demands that we multitask, switch contexts, and respond instantly. Every beep, ping, and buzz hijacks our attention. Every new message triggers a micro-response in our brain, releasing dopamine, the same chemical that makes gambling addictive. That's why checking your phone feels good. But only for a second. Then you go back for more. You've entered what psychologists call the dopamine loop, a self-reinforcing cycle of stimulation and distraction. Studies show that the average office worker gets interrupted every 11 minutes and takes about 23 minutes to fully refocus. Multiply that by the number of notifications you get in a day. And it's no wonder we feel constantly busy but rarely accomplished. This is the modern paradox. We confuse activity with productivity. We think that being online, being responsive, being busy means being effective. But in reality, busyness often masks inefficiency. So the first step to mastering productivity in the digital era is redefining what productivity actually means. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, with clarity and intention. The most productive people today aren't necessarily those who hustle 14 hours a day. They're the ones who know when to stop, what to prioritize, and how to say no. One of the biggest misconceptions we have is that productivity is about time. But the truth is, productivity is about energy and attention. You can have all the time in the world, but if your energy is low and your attention is scattered, that time means nothing. So, let's start with the first big hack of the digital era: focus management. If you can control your focus, you can control your productivity. And one of the simplest ways to do that is through time blocking. Time blocking means structuring your day into chunks, each dedicated to one specific type of work. You decide ahead of time what gets your attention and when. For example, you might spend 9 to 11 a.m. on creative work, writing, designing, brainstorming, then 11 to 1 p.m. on meetings, 2 to 4 p.m. on deep work, and so on. The key here is protecting those blocks from distractions. Turn off notifications, close extra tabs, put your phone in another room if you can. Because here's something people often forget. Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a context-switching tax. It takes mental energy to shift from writing an email to designing a presentation to replying to messages. So, instead of letting your attention be dictated by others, take control of it. Try this. Before your day begins, identify the 3 tasks that matter most. Just 3. These are your non-negotiables. Even if everything else falls apart, Completing those 3 gives your day meaning and momentum. Now, let's talk about digital clutter, one of the silent killers of productivity. We all know physical clutter affects how we think. Messy desks, tangled cables, sticky notes everywhere. But digital clutter is worse because it's invisible. A cluttered desktop, dozens of open tabs, endless unread emails. All these tiny bits of chaos chip away at your focus. Your brain registers each unfinished thing as a small source of stress. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Our mind fixates on unfinished tasks. So, one of the easiest productivity wins you can achieve is digital decluttering. Take 1 day a month to clean up your digital space. Unsubscribe from newsletters you never read. Delete old apps. Organize your files. Create a clean, minimal digital workspace. You'll be surprised how much mental clarity comes from simply reducing visual noise. Because clutter, physical or digital, is the enemy of focus. And that brings us to one of my favorite ideas: digital minimalism. Cal Newport's concept of digital minimalism isn't about deleting everything or moving to the woods. It's about designing your digital life intentionally. You ask yourself, does this tool serve me or do I serve it? Instead of downloading every new productivity app, master the few that actually make a difference. Maybe it's Notion, Todoist, or Google Calendar. It doesn't matter which one. What matters is consistency. The real productivity hack isn't having the best tools. It's having habits that make those tools work for you. Speaking of habits, let's talk about one of the most powerful micro-habits out there: the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it right away. Send that email. File that document. Reply to that message. It sounds small, almost trivial. But these tiny actions create momentum. Momentum is what separates productive days from chaotic ones. Once you get moving, it's easier to keep going, because procrastination is not a time problem. It's an emotional one. We delay tasks not because they're hard, but because they feel uncomfortable. The 2-minute rule bypasses that hesitation by shrinking the task into something manageable. You don't need motivation, just motion. And once you're in motion, everything else follows. But here's something people rarely talk about when it comes to productivity in the digital age: mental energy. We tend to treat focus as an unlimited resource, but it's not. Every decision, every message, every scroll drains a bit of your energy reservoir. That's why by 3 p.m., your brain feels foggy and your creativity drops. The solution? Energy management. Schedule your most important work during your peak energy hours, usually the first few hours of the morning for most people. Protect that time fiercely. Avoid meetings, calls, or digital distractions during that window. Then, schedule shallow work, emails, admin tasks, coordination, when your energy dips. Think of your day like a wave. You ride the peak for deep work, rest in the trough, then rise again. And speaking of rest, let's debunk a dangerous myth. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's a part of it. Technology has made it easy to blur boundaries between work and life. We bring our laptops to bed, check Slack during dinner, reply to emails on weekends. But every time we skip rest, we're sabotaging tomorrow's productivity. The most successful people I know, CEOs, creators, entrepreneurs, treat rest as non-negotiable. They schedule downtime the same way they schedule meetings. They know that recovery fuels resilience. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest productivity traps of our time: social media. You know how it goes. You open Instagram just to check one post, and suddenly it's 40 minutes later. You've scrolled through videos, liked memes, maybe watched someone's travel vlog, and you feel drained, guilty, and behind schedule. That's not an accident. Social media is engineered to keep you hooked. Platforms use something called variable rewards, the same mechanism used in slot machines. You don't know when you'll find something exciting, so you keep scrolling. So what can you do about it? Simple. Use social media intentionally. Set specific times in the day to check your feeds. Turn off push notifications. Follow accounts that inspire you. Unfollow those that drain you. And most importantly, replace passive scrolling with active creation. If you're going to spend time online, make it count. Share your ideas. Learn something new. Connect with people who matter. Because remember, in the digital era, attention is currency. Don't give yours away for free. Another underrated productivity hack is the power of single tasking. We glorify multitasking as if doing 5 things at once makes us efficient. In reality, it makes us slower and less accurate. Every time you switch tasks, your brain loses speed and precision. The world's most effective performers, from athletes to writers to scientists, know the value of deep, undivided focus. They enter what psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls the flow state, that magical zone where time disappears, distractions fade, and creativity flows effortlessly. You can't get there if you're checking your phone every 2 minutes. So, create what I call focus rituals. Small habits that prepare your brain for deep work. Maybe it's making coffee before you start, listening to instrumental music, turning off Wi-Fi, or setting a 50-minute timer. Whatever it is, make it consistent. When you repeat the same ritual daily, your brain learns to associate it with focus, just like an athlete preparing for a game. Over time, entering deep work becomes easier, faster, and more natural. Let's also talk about the role of environment, because productivity isn't just mental, it's physical. Your workspace affects your focus more than you realize. Lighting, temperature, posture, even the background noise around you all influence your output. If you work remotely or study from home, create a clear boundary between work mode and life mode. That could mean using a specific desk, wearing headphones, or even lighting a candle when you start. Small cues tell your brain, it's time to focus. And don't underestimate the power of movement. Sitting for hours kills not just your posture, but your creativity. Try the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of movement. Or take walking meetings. Science shows that walking boosts creative thinking by up to 60%. Sometimes, the best productivity tool is simply standing up. And here's something deeper to remember. Productivity isn't about perfection. It's about progress. In a world obsessed with metrics and performance, it's easy to measure your day by how many boxes you ticked off. But true productivity means creating value, not just output. Ask yourself, did what I do today move me closer to my goals? Did it bring meaning, satisfaction, or growth? Because without purpose, productivity becomes just motion. And motion without direction is chaos. So, as we wrap up part 1 of this episode, I want you to remember this. Technology is a tool, not a master. Your devices are supposed to serve you, not control you. Productivity in the digital era is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things in the right way. It's about protecting your focus, managing your energy, simplifying your digital life, and aligning your actions with your purpose. And most of all, it's about being present, fully, intentionally, here and now. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful productivity hack isn't a new app or AI system, it's you. Your awareness, your discipline, and your ability to choose what matters. In the next episode, part 2, we'll dive even deeper into advanced productivity strategies, using AI assistance wisely, automating your routine, mastering habit loops, and creating a system that keeps you productive without losing your mind. So take a deep breath, stretch a little, and maybe put your phone down for a few minutes. Trust me, your brain will thank you for it. And now let's keep going. We've talked about redefining productivity, from managing time to managing energy, from being busy to being intentional. But now, let's dive into the next level, the tools, systems, and mindset shifts that can truly transform how you work and live in this digital age. Because here's the truth. We're surrounded by technology powerful enough to automate tasks that once took hours, yet most of us still use it like we're stuck in 2005. The future belongs to those who know how to leverage technology, not be enslaved by it. One of the biggest game changers in recent years has been automation. Automation isn't just for tech experts or big companies anymore. It's for anyone who wants to save time and mental energy. Think about all the repetitive digital tasks you do. Sending reminders, scheduling posts, managing emails, tracking expenses. Now imagine delegating those to systems that run quietly in the background while you focus on the things that actually require human creativity. That's the power of automation. Tools like Zapier, Notion, ClickUp, and AI-based assistants such as ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot can now handle everything from data organization to customer responses to brainstorming marketing ideas. You can literally automate parts of your life. But here's where people often go wrong. They automate chaos. If your systems are messy, automation only multiplies the mess. That's why before automating anything, you need clarity. Ask yourself, what truly adds value to your work or your goals? What can be simplified, standardized, or removed altogether? Once you clean the system, automation becomes a force multiplier. It's like cleaning your kitchen before cooking. The process itself doesn't make the meal, but it makes cooking effortless. Another underrated digital productivity hack is batching, doing similar tasks together instead of switching between them constantly. For example, instead of checking emails all day long, set 2 windows a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Instead of posting on social media daily, create all your week's content in one session. Instead of holding 5 meetings a week, combine updates into one efficient call. Every switch between tasks costs your brain energy, what psychologists call the switching cost. Batching minimizes that. It allows your mind to stay in the same cognitive mode longer, meaning deeper focus, better output, and less fatigue. If you look at the world's most productive creators and entrepreneurs, they all have batching routines. Writers block off deep writing days. Marketers dedicate specific mornings to campaign planning. CEOs block a few hours for decision-making and leave the rest of the day for strategic thinking. Because when your energy is focused on one mode, you produce exponentially better results. Let's move to another crucial skill in the digital era: managing digital communication, emails, Slack, Teams, Telegram, Discord, you name it. Communication platforms are supposed to make collaboration easier, but often, they just multiply distractions. A study by Harvard Business Review found that the average knowledge worker spends almost 28% of their work week just managing emails. That's more than a full workday, gone every week, just replying, sorting, and reading messages. The solution isn't to quit email, it's to master it. Try these hacks. Use filters and folders. Automatically sort messages so only high-priority ones reach your main inbox. Apply the 3-line rule. Keep your replies short and actionable. Long emails waste time on both ends. Set communication boundaries. Define when you're available and when you're not. Constantly being online kills productivity and creativity alike. And remember, not every message needs an instant reply. Sometimes silence is efficiency. In fact, the most productive people don't respond faster. They respond smarter. They know when something requires their attention and when it can wait. Now, let's talk about something a bit deeper: cognitive load management. This might sound technical, but it's simply about how much mental processing you're doing at once. Every app, every decision, every open tab adds to your cognitive load. The higher it gets, the harder it becomes to think clearly, make decisions, or stay creative. That's why simplifying your workflow isn't just about aesthetics. It's neuroscience. Try this simple experiment. For 1 week, close all unnecessary tabs while working. Keep your phone out of reach. Work on one thing at a time. Really one thing. You'll notice your brain feels lighter, your ideas sharper, and your time more elastic. This is what cognitive scientists call monotasking, and it's the antidote to the fragmented attention of the digital era. Monotasking trains your brain to resist distraction. It strengthens your focus muscle, just like lifting weights strengthens your body. And when paired with mindfulness practices, like taking short breaks, deep breathing, or journaling, your ability to stay calm and productive skyrockets. Speaking of mindfulness, let's explore how it connects with productivity. In the digital world, busyness has become a badge of honor. We equate being busy with being important, but that mindset is killing our creativity and well-being. Mindfulness isn't about meditating for hours or sitting in silence on a mountaintop. It's about being fully present in what you're doing, whether that's writing an email, designing a project, or drinking your morning coffee. When you practice mindfulness, you reduce mental noise. You stop time traveling, regretting the past, worrying about the future, and bring your energy back to now. That clarity makes you more productive than any app or tool ever could. In fact, many of the world's top-performing companies, from Google to Salesforce, now integrate mindfulness programs into their workplaces because they know that a focused mind produces higher quality work. Even a simple 5-minute breathing break can reset your nervous system and improve decision-making. So if you ever feel overwhelmed by digital overload, step back, close your eyes, and breathe. Productivity starts with presence. Let's shift gears and talk about something that fuels all of this: motivation. In the digital age, motivation is fragile. One moment you're inspired by a TED Talk, the next you're distracted by a meme. Sustaining motivation requires structure. One powerful framework is called habit stacking. It's from James Clear's book Atomic Habits. The idea is simple. You attach a new productive habit to an existing routine. For example, after I check my morning emails, I'll spend 10 minutes planning my day. After lunch, I'll read 1 page of a book instead of scrolling through my phone. After finishing a task, I'll stretch for 2 minutes. By linking habits together, you eliminate the friction of starting new ones. Over time, this builds an autopilot system of productivity. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to overhaul your life in 1 week. You just need to design small daily systems that compound over time. Now let's look at another key shift: asynchronous work. The pandemic changed how we think about collaboration. Remote work taught us that not every task needs to happen in real time. Asynchronous work, where people contribute on their own schedules, allows deeper focus, fewer interruptions, and global flexibility. The most progressive teams now use asynchronous communication tools like Loom or Notion to share updates without meetings. Imagine this. Instead of 10 Zoom calls a week, your team leaves video notes, written updates, or dashboards everyone can review anytime. People respond when they're in their productive hours, not when the calendar demands it. That's not laziness. It's optimization. A synchronous culture honors both productivity and mental health. It allows for real deep work, the kind where breakthroughs happen. So whether you're managing a team or just working solo, consider adopting asynchronous habits. You'll be amazed at how much time and peace you gain. And here's another digital productivity principle: the 80-20 rule, or Pareto principle. It says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. In practice, this means not all tasks are created equal. Answering emails or updating spreadsheets may feel productive, but they rarely move you closer to your biggest goals. The key is to identify your vital few tasks, the ones that create the biggest impact, and prioritize them ruthlessly. Ask yourself daily, what's the 20% that truly matters today? Because productivity isn't just about doing things right. It's about doing the right things. Once you focus on those, your output skyrockets and your stress drops. But let's be honest, even the best systems fail when burnout creeps in. That's why digital wellness has become the ultimate productivity hack. You can't be effective if you're exhausted. You can't focus if your brain is constantly overstimulated. Digital wellness means setting healthy tech boundaries. Have a no-screen morning routine. Avoid checking your phone in bed. Use Do Not Disturb mode for at least 1 hour of deep work daily. Take regular digital Sabbaths, half a day without screens each week. Your brain needs silence as much as your muscles need rest after a workout. And ironically, that silence is often where your best ideas emerge. One more secret that few people talk about: the power of reflection. At the end of each day or week, take 10 minutes to review. Ask yourself, what did I achieve? What distracted me? What felt meaningful? Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without reflection, you repeat the same mistakes. With it, you grow faster. It's how you move from reaction to intention. Keep a digital productivity journal, even just 1 sentence a day. Over time, you'll see patterns. What drains you? What energizes you? What truly matters? That awareness is the foundation of long-term success. So, where does all this leave us? The digital era is both a gift and a trap. It gives us access to infinite knowledge and infinite distractions. It offers tools that can multiply our productivity or fragment it completely. The difference lies in how we use them. Technology can't save you. from chaos if you don't first master yourself. Real productivity isn't about cramming more tasks into your calendar. It's about aligning your tools, habits, and mindset with your deeper purpose. It's about clarity, focus, simplicity. It's about asking, what's truly worth my time and attention? Because your attention, not your time, is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. And as we close this conversation, remember this: you are not a machine. You are a creator living in a digital ecosystem that never sleeps. But you get to choose when to pause. You get to choose when to unplug. You get to choose how to use the incredible power in your hands, not just to work harder, but to live better. So maybe the ultimate productivity hack isn't an app, a tool, or a new system. Maybe it's learning to be human again. Thanks for listening. And if this inspired you to rethink your digital habits, maybe take the next 10 minutes offline, breathe, reflect. Your best ideas are probably waiting there, in the quiet.